Today, we're going to see how you can leverage OpenAI's GPT-4 to interact with and ask questions about your images in a no-code style using BuildShip. And we're going to be using for that our GPT4 Vision node, which I'm going to add now to my workflow. So here we go. We've got a REST API trigger with a path vision, which is a post request, and we've got here our GPT-4 node. Now let's take a quick look at its details. So the GPT-4 Vision node allows us to ask questions about images. It takes as inputs an API key, an image URL, questions to ask about the image, the maximum tokens, and the detail of the image, which will give us control over how much detail is processed by the model. Before actually filling these in and deploying my workflow, I want to quickly test this node and see if it's what I need. And in order to do that, I'm going to hop into the code details of this node. I'm going to click here on the code button, and this is going to bring us into editing the node itself. We can see here on the right-hand side, the code written, which again, we haven't written any. This allows us to leverage the full power of the Vision API. But on the left here, I can actually test this right away. So first, we'll start with our API key. Now I'm just going to click on the edit button here. And I've already got an OpenAI key here in my secrets, but you can add your own by clicking on Add Secret. I'm just going to fill that in. Next, we need to put in our image URL. Now I've got one here that I'm going to test right away. Here we go. I've got a URL of this photo here. I'm going to bring that back into BuildShip and paste that into the image URL field. Next, we've got our question. I've got the full power to allow folks to ask questions about this image. So for example, given this is a pretty scenic image, I'm going to ask the question, describe the scenery. I'm going to click on test node here. Amazing, and in just a few moments, I've got my result. The image depicts an underwater scene that is serene and full of natural beauty. A diver is in the foreground, floating effortlessly in the clear blue water. I'll stop there. This gives us an idea of what we can do, but let's try a different question. How about we ask OpenAI to describe the colors in this scene? I'm just going to click on test node again. And as said, I'm just trying it out before deploying it so that I can get an idea and see how powerful this is before I deploy it and make it available to users. And we already have our result. Let's have a look. The image depicts a serene underwater scene with a diverse palette of colors. The dominant color is the varying shades of blue in the water, which range from a light, almost turquoise blue where sunlight penetrates the water to a deeper, richer shade in the depths of the ocean. Amazing. But this is more of a scenic image. What if I wanted to describe images that are a little bit more complex and specific? Well, for that, I've got an image here of an example receipt. Now let's try this with BuildShip. Let's say that I want to know which is the most expensive item on this receipt. I can click on test node again, and we'll let it do its thing. And here we go. The most expensive item on the receipt is toothpaste with a total amount of $30, which indicates that the unit price of $15 is the highest among the listed items. Again, all I needed to ask was what the most expensive item is, and GPT-4, with no code, allowed me to be able to discern that. Now that I've deemed that this is a very helpful and apt node, I can click on Save and fill in those items as needed. So the secret I already have, the image we will bring from the user's input. So request, body, image URL, and the question will also come from the API request, body dot question. Returning the output of this node, which we've already tested, we can now insert into our return value. So under variables, go to GPT Vision, and we already know that this is a string. So we can just insert that there and ship our workflow. As you can see, this was just a few steps to do, but this is just a starting point. Expand this any way you like to build your ideas with a powerful backend. See you in the next video.